Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat. Delicious things.
Fuchs in the house. I thought about that one. From going back to the movies, drive-in theaters. A little antic. I may put. I'll have to put the commercial on there. It's been a while. I'm doing a mega movie talk. I am trying to get caught up because trying to remember these movies as I'm looking at them, it's like, oh my god, is this good? And then there's moments that it's like, okay, just because I remember a moment. So we're gonna be doing that. But first, I'm gonna give out a shout out to my mom. She made some coffee cake. It's good. It is good. That's one of those recipes that if you made it, you'd be like, yeah, I can't. You probably make it the same way, but it just wouldn't taste right because your mom made it or grandma made it. I do not know the recipe or whatever, but thanks, mom. Just want to give you a shout out. It is good coffee cake. So, sorry about that. Wanted to give her a shout because I had a piece yesterday after dinner, and it was like, wow, this is good. At first, I was just going to keep it for this morning, but I was like, yeah, I'll try some, and enjoyed it very much. So, thanks for letting me give a shout out to my mom. Usually, I don't do this that much in the beginning, but thanks to people making comments on my video. I appreciate that. Jeff, Derek, um, Mike, and anyone else that wants to, please do write comments. Try to enjoy them. Is yeah, today I am trying to do. This is going to be a long movie talk. Well, not long. I'm going to be doing 8 movies that we're going to talk about. I'm just trying to get caught up. I mean, I need to do this because I don't do my videos like in a 2 or 3 day window. I apologize. And basically, I get behind. And so that's what's going to be. But first, little sports talk. UWM Baseball started yesterday, but their game was postponed against North Alabama. I do not know on how their team's going to do. I just put this out here because they're the only Wisconsin Division 1 baseball team. And they don't get no coverage. They're in the Horizon League, and I think they should be able to compete a little better. But the bad thing about them is they play like their first like 15 games are on the road because of being in Wisconsin. Um, but I do like the schedule. I've mentioned this before because they get to play some teams that you never like North Alabama, like with Milwaukee versus North Alabama, not so much in like baseball or anything like that. And then I think they've got Murray State on the schedule. They're playing home and home with Northwestern, which is kind of cool since they're not in the Big Ten. So that's kind of nice. So they have a good non-conference schedule for baseball, which is kind of neat. They're on ESPN Plus, and I may even try to check that out somewhere. I don't know, but see how that goes. Basketball, UW men took a beating from Youngstown State. Um, 30-point loss, I think. Which, I mean, for me, I'm just hoping they get to the NIT. I mean, I think it's a team that if that's Cinderella story in the tournament, which that's huge. But I think if they got to the NIT and they got some matchups, they could do okay for playing wise. But again, the popularity's not really there, but there is talk. People are starting to talk about them. I guess the Milwaukee Journal sent the beat writer to Ohio for the game, which I guess they haven't really done that. Which you don't have a winning product, you're not going to get that coverage. But they do have to. And one of the players, the defensive player, uh, Browning, I think his last name is. Don't quote me. he injured his ankle, so they lost their top defensive guy, which they need. So that could make things a little rough for the end of the season, but we'll see. Snowing wise, we just came over a decent. The way they made it sound, it was going to be a lot worse than what it ended up being, and it's going to start melting today. But with this snow after Valentine's Day, I'm at that point where it's like, okay, we can move. I'm ready for getting to spring and getting done. Um, I just think, sometimes you're in Wisconsin and it's like it's winter. That's what you got to deal with. But so that's that, and no deals to cover with you guys. I guess talking about my mom's coffee cake was the big story. Um, oh, if you're looking for the bargain garden seed, that stuff's hard to find. Um, and the only thing I have to find is some lettuce seed, and be kind of being put on a lookout for that. So, movie talk. All my movies, the horror flicks are the better ones. The other ones, just average. There's one here that I think it got a rating of 3, and I kind of think I'm going to be going from the horror flicks. I'm leaving last because those were the better movies. Um, so let's start this off with like the one that got the worst rating: Two Graves in the Desert. William Baldwin and Michael Madsen, two, I guess, hitman, basically are gonna go kill two people, bury them in the desert, and I don't know if it kind of has it's a dark action comedy. It's got a few moments for comedy, but it's kind of a dark movie. 2020, it got a 3, I think, and I'm gonna say it could go to a 4. I mean, there's some parts of the movie that are okay, and then there's that cheesy part or something. Like, oh God. But all these movies are okay to watch. I'm not saying that they're over the top. Like I say, the horror flicks are the best. Next one, 2016 Pineville Heist. A teenage student comes across a bank robbery and ends up having a cat and mouse in the local high school. Um, Again, one of those movies that there's scenes is like, yeah, he kind of like, what the hell, or is this? But again, trying to cover obscure movies, which I haven't really gotten too deep into, but now I found a couple. So this got a 4, if I remember right. In this one, I would give a 4.5. Everything I think goes up except for one movie, which I would bring down. Next one, Death Hunt, 2022. Just got a 3.7. There is a Death Hunt with Charles Bronson in the 70s. So if you are looking for what I'm talking about, 2022, a couple, a rich guy and his mistress end up in the back roads and get pulled over, and then end up being put on an island and have to survive. It's a story that's been done before, but got a 3.7, and I think there's a few scenes in the movie that are like, this ain't bad. Um, Again, I'll give it a 4. So that's that. Again, these are trying to do what I can. Locked In, 2021, Jeff Fahey movie. It's got a 4.2. A mother and daughter end up, again, cat and mouse type of movie in a storage unit. And this one has a couple of scenes that are like, really, why is this happening? And um, yeah, it's just if you're looking for a basic action, I think there's a couple graphic scenes if I remember right. Again, this is where I haven't seen a movie in a while. Yeah, you're trying to remember it after you watched about 10,000 other movies. So, we're halfway through on that. Hope everybody's doing all right. Again, I appreciate everybody. It's a Saturday morning. Kind of have. Oh, I did turn off the light over there. Have to turn the lights on because the natural light from my patio window, the sun hasn't come completely up. And when I did that, let's go to the lobby thing. Now it's showing like state fair commercials and stuff, and it's like from the 50s and 60s. Let's see. Wow. Again, a kick is like.
The show starts in 1 minute.
There we go. Oh, there. The show starts in 1 minute. All right. Okay. Next movie. Held Up, 2010. This one, if you're looking for an offbeat comedy, does all right. Bank teller, just kind of mundane life and wants something to happen, so a bank robbery ends up happening. And two goofballs. It's, if you're looking for a comedy, it got a 4.8. I give it that, and low budget. I think so far, yeah, I think all of them that I've talked about are low budget films, and they do what they have. So yeah, that one's the comedy that I'd recommend. I guess I should have done Kane Files first, but yeah. And then Kane Files 5.6. A convict ends up escaping, and a crime boss wants him killed, and so it's kind of a revenge kind of thing in this small town. And there's a couple names in this: William Devane and the professor from Real Genius. He's in this, and it's like, wow. I mean, and he almost looks the same. I mean, yeah, I'm gonna say plastic surgery, I guess, for him, because he almost looks the same for a 2010 movie, and Real Genius was, I think, the 80s. But yeah, those are my action movies with one comedy. Nothing that I wouldn't give thumbs down to. I guess, yeah. I mean, Grave to two Graves in the Desert got a 3, but I didn't think it was that bad. I've seen worse. I know I have. I got to do that, is try to get a chart of this movie is here, because it's that kind of scenario. I'll work on that. And my 2 horror flicks. Both of them. The one did get a 5.3, 2013, called Evidence. And basically, a busload of tourists, I think, going to Vegas, end up getting in this, I guess, deserted town, and more or less get killed one by one. And the police are trying to put things together. The ending is a good surprise. I totally didn't think about it, and so I'm not gonna. I don't want to. I will say it. Sequel kind of scenario for it, and I should have looked at that. And then my next one. This one is for a horror flick, edge of your seat kind of thing. The Strangers, 2008, and basically that one. A couple goes out into a remote vacation home and more or less gets stalked. Yeah, I have to say those 2 movies for horror flicks. Evidence, again, a little low budget, but they are horror flicks. Slasher. The Strangers, yeah, a little. It's got a good storyline for movie. 6.1 and 5.3 for those movies. So that is my movie talk, and my video is about 15 minutes. It's like, usually I try to do 10, but where's my list? So I'm kind of caught up. So this, and then there's movies here. So I'm kind of getting to where I need to be. I kind of want to get more to where I can talk about a movie a little more in depth, or it's like I remember this being that good or that bad. For all the movies I've done, I kind of wish I would do a little something a little different in regards to rating. I do have my playlists out there. Going to be taking a little time to put these together, but that's where we're at. And thanks for watching, and enjoy the day. And thanks for Fuchs in the house for Mega Movie Talk Day.